Just a warning, this video may contain spoilers for certain parts of the game, so watch at your own risk. How you doing, guys? My name is Michael.
And I'm Jeffrey.
This is Houston Brothers Gaming News, and today we will be talking about 3 stories. I have a cool little bug from Uncharted that's kind of interesting that I found.
And I have something from a game that's been waiting for a while. Well, that people have been waiting for a while, and it's kind of bad news. So without further ado, Michael, I want to hear this bug that you found that you kept telling me about. You think it's pretty funny?
Yes, I found it pretty funny when I was reading it. It's on Kotaku, and it is that there is a bug in the game, I guess, that will turn Drake invisible, making the key scenes in the beginning of the game. If you guys haven't seen it, you know, this is a kind of a spoiler warning. You guys could, consider that. But in the early scenes of the game, it's kind of integral to have Drake be part of it. And if he's invisible, it does make for some funny moments. I'll leave a link in the description. There's GIFs and everything on there. You guys can go look at the GIFs and look into it yourself. There's actually another video with it on YouTube, I do believe. It's also on Kotaku. So like I said, there will be a link in the description for this, but I just found it pretty funny that, this whole thing with, Drake being invisible would be pretty funny.
Okay, coming back from being sick and hearing that there's a bug in Uncharted 4, a game that I personally love, where Drake is invisible, that's just really kind of funny to me. I don't know why it's funny. Maybe because Drake is the main character, and if the main character is invisible, there probably would be no game, but yet there still is a game, so it's kind of hard to explain.
Well, I mean, being invisible and being a thief, thief is also pretty interesting, so...
I mean, that would help a lot for Drake being invisible, but it's kind of hard to play the game when you can't see the character. So I haven't played much of Uncharted. I've only played a little bit of 4 when I was over at a friend's house. It was the release date, he had it. And I only played a little bit of it. I'm not a huge fan, but, I will still admit the game is pretty good, in my opinion.
So why don't you move on to your story?
So way back at E3 in 2014, going way back, Sony announced that the procedure-generated space game was coming to PlayStation 4 called No Man's Sky. It looked pretty cool to me, but there's been a problem. It's been delayed. The article on IGN says Sony hasn't formally announced a delay or the new release date quite yet, but sources close to Kotaku, where Michael got his news story, revealed that the delay was coming. Employees at GameStop locations have been reportedly instructed to cover up the June 21st date in the promotion material with a "coming soon" label, which is kind of bad. If you're gonna delay the game, just announce you're going to delay the game. Don't be like say Capcom and delay the game, then blame it on the fans for delaying the game. Sony, please do not do that. That would be bad.
However, there is an update to this story.
Yeah, I was just getting to that. The update is the game has really come together, but it is such with incredible relief. As we sit and play it now. So basically, what they're saying is that people are now in the beta of the game. A short delay on No Man's Sky will relaunch in North America on August 9th, in Europe August 10th, and in the UK August 12th. That's a pretty big delay, but to be fair, it is a pretty big game.
No Man's Sky is probably one of the most anticipated games that I'm looking forward to be released this year.
Same here.
Given that nothing comes out of E3, which, by the way, we will be doing an E3 preview show the week of E3. We will be doing a E3 preview.
And next week, we will be, like Michael said, we will be doing an E3 preview, kind of like an E3 guessing game, on what we're going to want to see from games like we know Ubisoft's going to make an appearance. That's already been confirmed. It's been confirmed Bethesda has something big. And we're currently working the script out for that one now, so it will take a little more time, and it might not happen on Wednesday, our normal upload day. But just be ready for it, because it will be kind of a long episode. So we'll be going through every single thing we can find about E3. And we also will be covering every single E3 conference after it has happened. So say Microsoft's conference is first, then we'll be covering Microsoft's conference and what we thought, what were some of the good points, what were some of the bad points, funny moments, not funny moments. Same thing with all the conferences. It'll be, some of them will be long, some of them will be short. It just depends on how much stuff they announce and how excited we are for it.
So we do record these episodes on Sunday, and this next episode will be recorded Sunday, June 12th, which is just a few days before E3. It will drop on Wednesday, maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, depending on
how editing goes, as well as how YouTube's upload speed is. Because sometimes, as any YouTuber will tell you, YouTube's upload speed can be good or it can be bad, to say the least.
And then, like Jeffrey said, we will be doing more with E3 after all the conferences. So, like, the very next week, we'll be, doing a review of the entirety of E3 and what we thought about it, what we thought of everything that was announced. Looking forward to some big, some big things from everybody, but hopefully E3 doesn't let down like it has in a few years past.
Yeah, hopefully it's not like last year with Sony's little slip-up. I hope there is another slip-up like that, because that was funny to me. But still, hopefully there isn't anything like that, because then I'll just be focused. That'll be the main part of my point, will be that Sony, if we were doing this last year, Sony fucked up. But that's for E3 prediction time. Right now, I see you have another news story open here.
Yes, this one is the big one that we've decided to, our big story that we are deciding to cover. And it is that Steam's most popular game, Dota 2, has just added support for Vulkan, which is DirectX 12's more open rival. Now, I never heard of Vulcan until I came across this story.
I'm in the same boat with you.
Through the internet.
I'm in that same boat with you. I've never heard of this. I've always heard of DirectX.
But apparently, it was designed as an open rival to Microsoft DirectX 12, so it can add this to its cap that it's, Valve is releasing an update for Vulcan for its most popular game. Getting Vulkan to power Dota 2 isn't as simple as clicking a box. The graphics API has to be enabled with the Vulkan flag in the launch options. And you also have to get rid of DirectX and OpenGL flags if you see them. Valve also says that it will be running in Steam Client Beta, and Valve has instructions on how to do that. I will leave links to all these articles that we read today in the description. You guys can go and check them out. And you have to do that to get the Vulkan version of the Steam overlay. Vulkan is still in beta with Dota 2, so there are a few known issues. You may see some short stuttering on startup and related to shader caching issues. And Linux players with NVIDIA graphics cards may see some screen tearing, even if VSyncing is turned on.
I personally have not played much of Dota 2. I mean, I do have it downloaded, and I haven't picked up the game since 2011. But I haven't, like I said, I haven't played much. But it seems to me that once they get it open, it should enhance the graphics a little bit from what I'm hearing, and make it run a little smoother on PCs that aren't really built for gaming. I think it's a good thing.
So, you guys can let us know what you guys think about these in the description. Have you ever heard of Vulkan before now?
Because we sure haven't.
If you have, then, please feel free to enlighten us on what Vulkan's able to do, because we are, at this point, totally unsure. I am going to look more into Vulkan after this episode is over, because it's definitely seems like it's something interesting. So if you guys have heard of it, let us know in the comments.
But, I mean, on to like Vulcan and DirectX. I mean, we all know what DirectX is capable of. Like, we all know that, you know, most games nowadays run on DirectX. Every game I have in my Steam library runs on DirectX. I don't know.
I mean, even back in the days when CD-ROMs were, you know, the major thing and download options, you know, online downloads were not a thing. DirectX was still something that was used.
Most things use, not even games.
I mean, when you installed the game back when you put CDs into the CD-ROM drive and everything, before, you know, back, because I'm a kid of the 90s, so we had CDs. We didn't have the download, you know, option to download our games onto our systems like we have today. But you know that DirectX was the major thing for most, if not all, games out of that time period.
Yeah, and everything I have heard from, you know, my experiences of playing older type games on newer PCs, I've always had to install older versions of DirectX in order to get games to work. Like, say, Age of Empires for Windows 95, I got to work on my Windows 10 laptop a while back, but I needed to install a really older version of DirectX. So there's also that. So even, you know, with me not being a kid of the 90s, like I was born in 96, so count that as 90s or not. But even then, I had to install DirectX. I've never even heard of this Vulcan, but like my brother said, let us know what you guys think. Let us know if you've heard of Vulcan, and if so, what is it capable of? Is it better than DirectX? Is it worse than DirectX? Because we have not heard of Vulcan at all, beside from this news story.
So make sure you guys follow us on Twitter, Facebook. We have Twitter and Facebook if you guys wish to follow us on there. Subscribe if you guys are new. And
we will be seeing you
in 2 weeks with our E3 preview show. And then after that, it'll be our E3 review show. So, until next time, I'm Michael.
I'm Jeffrey, and we are signing out.